Russia continues to kill civilians. Vitkoff and Rubio came to Paris to talk about peace. What will the Ukrainian delegation achieve during meetings with American and European partners? I'm Albina Pidhirnyak. We will analyze the news of Ukraine and the world together. Russia continues to launch drones on Ukrainian peaceful cities every day. Unfortunately, there are casualties. Here is what Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wrote in his telegram about the past day. It was a difficult night in the Dnieper strike by Russian drones on ordinary houses, on ordinary civilians' infrastructure. The rubble is being cleared. Currently, 16 people are in the city's hospitals. A total of 28 people are injured, including 4 children. Everyone is receiving assistance. Unfortunately, 3 people were killed by this Russian strike, and among them is a girl, Veronika. She was only 17 years old. My condolences to her family and friends. Odessa, also a drone strike, 3 people were injured. Damaged houses, a pharmacy, a church, air bomb strikes on Sumy region. Russian ballistics are hitting Kharkiv and Donetsk regions. Talking about the last messages of Ukraine president in the recent speech, Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized that the threat from Russia remains. In particular, Ukrainian intelligence reports that new strikes from Russia are now possible before and after Easter.
There is data from our special services, from the development of our country, Bellico Day, and after that, new Russian strikes are possible. We will continue to defend our country, protect our energy, but this protection is not only in missiles and air defense systems. Not only the military provides it, of course, the military, certainly our countries. The Air Force is very important, but everyone is important. Everyone who works conscientiously and efficiently in each community, in each of our regions.
Volodymyr Zelensky at the same time thanked all Ukrainians, our military and energy workers who allow our country to resist the occupiers and maintain the energy system in a normal state. Volodymyr Zelensky also noted that he hopes that partners will react to the current Russian rhetoric.
Yes, we are counting on diplomacy, on the fact that our partners, the United States, Europe and others in the world will not allow Russia to humiliate itself and continue to ignore the proposal for a ceasefire, for an end to the war. But we must be ready for all scenarios and defend our state, our people, and protect the life of Ukraine.
Talking about the rhetoric, recently Donald Trump said that one can't start a war against somebody who is 20 times your size and then expect that people will give you new missiles. This is how he spoke about Russia's war against Ukraine, completely distorting the truth. British journalist Alex Russell writes about the rhetoric in his article for the Financial Times. The journalist noted that Trump and his aides, professional wrestling fans, believe that politics should be conducted publicly in the same spirit of combat imitation.
Between the linguistic slipperiness of everyday politics and the distortion of history lies a chasm of difference. The idea that truth is the first casualty of war has long been a cliché. Trump's fabrications about Ukraine remind me of the through-the-looking-glass line of the Bosnian Serbs besieging Sarajevo in the early 1990s. Even as they shelled the Bosnian capital from the surrounding hills, they claimed they were the victims. For anyone visiting Ukraine, the truth is that the people are exhausted and desperate for peace. But it must be a just and secure peace that ensures that Russia cannot take a breather and invade again.
The head of the Ukrainian president's office, Andriy Yermak, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Andriy Sybiha, and the Ukrainian Minister of Defense, Rustem Umerov, have arrived in Paris. The head of the office of the President of Ukraine reported this on Telegram. A series of bilateral and multilateral meetings are planned with representatives of coalition of the willing states that are able to guarantee security, in particular with the representatives of France, Germany and Great Britain. Ukrainian high-ranking officials met a delegation from the US, which is currently visiting France.
Just landed in Paris, arrived with Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiga and Defense Minister Rustem Umerov. As part of the visit, a number of bilateral and multilateral meetings are planned with representatives of the Coalition of the Willing and able to guarantee security states, in particular from France, Germany and Great Britain. Meetings are also planned with representatives of the United States, who are currently in France. We are working on important issues for the security of Ukraine and all of Europe.
Work continues on security guarantees for Ukraine. The Ukrainian delegation discussed just and lasting peace for our country with representatives of the Coalition of the Willing in Paris. This was reported by the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Rustem Umerov, on his Facebook. The Minister of Defense noted that, among other things, we are talking about a complete ceasefire.
We held the first meeting in Paris on the ceasefire and security guarantees for Ukraine. At the Élysée Palace, together with the head of the Office of the President Andriy Yermak and Minister of Foreign Affairs Andriy Sybiha, we held talks with representatives of the Coalition of the Willing countries. On the side of our partners, the meeting was attended by French President's National Security Advisor Emmanuel Bon, UK Prime Minister's Advisor Jonathan Powell, and German Federal Chancellor's Advisor Jens Plötner. We discussed further steps toward achieving a just and lasting peace. In particular, we coordinated positions on implementing a full ceasefire, involving a multinational military contingent, and creating an effective security architecture for our country. Work on security guarantees with our partners continues. Our priority is a result that will ensure reliable peace for Ukraine and the Ukrainian people.
Foreign analysts are optimistic as for this meeting. It looks like there is a clear understanding for what Ukraine can get and what it can expect in terms of American support. British Ambassador Kim Darroch says that Ukrainians need to be more constructive and offer the United States specific ideas on how to increase pressure on Russia.
Exactly. I mean, they'll want to be constructive. They won't want to row about where we are now. But I hope that they will put some ideas on the table about ways of putting more pressure on Russia. And there are several options here. I mean, the obvious one, which Trump has already talked about, is more sanctions on Russia, though I think there is a limit to how effective sanctions are. And Russia's had sanctions on them for a long time. It's not stopped the war effort. But there are other things. You could supply more weapons. You could supply better weapons. You could do both. You could have fewer restrictions on how the weapons are used, so there could be more Ukrainian strikes into Russian territory.
Meanwhile, Zarubin posted an interview with Ushakov. Putin's henchman once again spoke about the Vitkov's visit. Zarubin noted that Vitkov allegedly passed on a message from the Russians that they were once again demanding a winning track from him. It is interesting that Zarubin posted his information on the day of the talks in Paris. Let's listen to what Ushakov said.
Well, following the results of St. Petersburg, he seems to have such positive impressions, what he says in an interview with the American media from the talks. And what are your impressions? Well, it was a good conversation. Many topics were touched upon, both political and economic. Of course, the situation around Ukraine was discussed most of all. Where are we going more or less? Are there any shifts? Approach? I would say that the relevant signals from us were transmitted through Vitkoff. I think that these signals have already been discussed in Washington. In a side meeting, are we getting closer to the leaders? Well, we can talk about this, because this is a well-known topic, but I would say that some specific dates have not yet been agreed, and even the place has not been agreed, although many people are talking about al-Riyadh, in particular, our American colleagues. It is also heard in the public space that the option of cancelling and terminating flights between Moscow and Washington seems to be being discussed. Is there any progress with this either? The topic was raised during some contacts, in particular, I know Dmitriev. But the Americans still believe that it is necessary to achieve some progress on the Ukrainian track, and only then talk about air traffic, although it seems to me that it would be quite a logical decision.
Dear viewers, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like it so that as many people as possible can see it. And write your comment about the latest news. We'll meet soon to share the latest news.